Hello again, humankind. Welcome to your Wisdom Wake Up Call number 2. Last time, I only introduced just a few points to step you into this series. This time, I'm going to explain a bit better about what all this is. Last time I said I was here to deliver some crucial messages from God for all of us. And that's still what's going on. Nothing has changed. This session of truth is just going to explain a bit better about God's messages and why now is the time. This is where you start to leave dreamland and get yourself on the way to becoming spiritually awake. For the record, this series of videos is called Second Level Revelations. Now, before anybody starts flipping out about me trying to add another book to the Bible, kill the motor. I would never even think about having the utter gall to either add anything to my Father's Word or to take anything away from it. This series is not called Second Revelations. It's called Second Level Revelations. What it is things God has revealed to me and commanded me to share. And all of these revealed understandings are on a higher level of spiritual truth. Let me help you see what I mean by explaining something similar. Pretend you have a time machine. Now go back in time to Moses as an adult in Egypt. As soon as you find him, pull your cell phone out of your pocket and explain to him what it is and what it does. Exactly. See, even though Moses got a prince's education in Egypt, and they were ahead of everyone else scientifically back then, no matter how you tried to explain the device that is utterly common to today's children and adults, Moses would be unable to understand. This is the point. In today's world, we have advanced ourselves scientifically, and that lets us use commonly the knowledge that would have been just dismissed as insane, nonsensical babbling back in Moses' day. But we have not advanced our spiritual thinking to higher levels like we've advanced our scientific thinking to higher levels. That's a big problem. And that's the idea behind Second Level Revelations. I'm speaking on spiritual matters because the spiritual matters. And we need to be seeing and understanding the truth of God and what He's doing and revealing. And we need to be doing it on a higher level than we've been operating on so far. Now, allow me to aid your wake up with some short speaking, long reaching wisdom. First, if you truly believe there is God, He will be either your king or your judge. The choice of which one is yours to make in this life. But if you choose Him as your king, then be sure you treat Him as your king. Next, if you do not believe in God, you will one day when you face Him as your judge. And when you try to tell Him that you had no way of knowing for sure that He is real when you were alive, He will replay your life. And He will point out all the times He showed Himself to you that you blew it off. Then what will you say to Him? You know, it seems like everybody gets mad at God when things don't go the way they want. But how many of us respectfully ask for His help and sincerely trust Him to come through with it? But God does come through for your needs every time you ask. He does it in His timing though, and only as long as you truly believe in Him and fully trust Him too. Of course, if you don't have any thoughts of God in your everyday life, then you don't really believe. And He can only come through as often as your disbelief allows, which is not often. And while most of the humans that God made are busy getting mad at Him for not making their lives perfect, they aren't bothering to choose Him in their daily lives. So you're still not willing to be honest with God about your wrong and disobedient choices? Then you're still too childish to be a child of His. Grow up. Remember, our wrong and disobedient choices expose our areas of weakness. And it's when we improve our weaknesses that we grow stronger. So denying our weaknesses denies us the true ability to strengthen ourselves. To help each of us be our best, God will tell each one of us where we went wrong. The enemy of God in us tells each one of us that we are wrong. However, the truth is that we make mistakes and we are not mistakes. But since God took the time to say it, we should really take the time to do it. Like it or not, the reality is the enemy of God in us can't actually force us to do anything. He's only allowed to tempt us away from obeying God. It's us who chooses what we do. Basically, I don't want to answer to God one day. So I'm smart and I get it out the way now. I choose to answer to Him today and every day. And I trust that God knows best because He's God. I might know differently sometimes, for sure. But He knows best, so let's run that. And remember, we are short-sighted. God is long-sighted, so we got to trust His vision. That doesn't usually mean that we get to know His vision, just that we got to trust it. Some of the best news ever is that God never gets tired or gives up. So thank God that God is God. Oh, just so you know, understanding is not a requirement of obedience. Obedience, however, is the requirement. But that's okay, because we'll never figure it all out. That's not our job. God alone has it all figured out. Our job is to understand what He guides us to know. To my dying day, I am a work in progress, working on my progress. And remember that to stay God's, no matter what comes at us in life, takes many great works. Of course, we're all supposed to do the same great works for God, just in our own specific ways. Our great works for God happen when we stay His, despite of all the evil and all the selfish thinking that the enemy drowns us in throughout our lives. Our best chance is to go with God at all times, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter who you meet, and no matter what comes your way. Always keep God in your heart, and He will always be at your side, having your back. And the bottom line is that God just wants us to be His. But to be His, we got to be His. And there it is, your first dose of short-speaking, long-reaching wisdom. I can't imagine a more perfect name for what I just listed off. All of those real truths that hit your soul in a real way just now could never originate from any limited, mere mortal human. Only the incredible beyond description, incredible beyond understanding power of the divine God who made us all, could be the source of the soul-affecting brilliance that you all just heard. The understandings that flowed through the words that I just came out of my mouth are power beyond any of us. Think about it like this. It all makes sense so perfectly. Like you feel like you should have known it, or maybe you didn't know it. You didn't know you knew it until now. Humankind, I'm 38 years old at this point in my life. If I could come up with truths as perfect as those, I'd have been doing it my whole life so far. I'd have been writing books better than anyone ever thought of since the day I could hold a pen. And I'd be so rich that the wealthiest people on our planet would be coming to me for financial help on a daily basis. Yet these incredible understandings have only been coming to my mind for about 4 years now. And for about 6 years now, I've been struggling to survive homeless on the streets of Sacramento. Hear me well, humankind. The time is now. Bet your life and eternal soul that we are in the end days at this very moment. Just because the world's not going to end tomorrow does not mean we are not in the end days. Just look around and see it. More and worse evil is rampaging through our world, and it's only getting worse day by day. Every single human being on this planet would be wise to pay some real attention to what's really going on. It won't be long before there's no more life as we know it. Now, more than ever before, is the time to be giving great thought and consideration to God and the spiritual matters, because it won't be long before there's no more physical anything. You don't have to like that for it to be true, and it is utterly true. The choice to belong to God, to love and serve Him, is a choice made in this life. Once we face Him, there's no changing anything. You will be who you chose to be, and have no doubt, absolutely no doubt in your mind, that everyone will want to choose God at that moment when He is before them. When you are no longer living in this physical place, and the Creator of all is ready to send you to your eternal destination, you won't have any more do-overs or one more chances. Your eternal destination will be the one you chose by who you chose to be in this life, God's or not. When you choose in this life the hard road of obedience and love and respect for God, staying as good and as right as you can, then you will gain heaven unendingly. When you choose in this life the easy road of self and selfish thinking and self-focus and me, like our world is all about, then you will exist forever in a place of unimaginable horror and burning torment, reliving again and again and again every single ungodly decision you made that earned you that fate. And you won't have your friends or anyone else. You will only ever suffer alone for your weakness of turning your back on God in this short life that was just so important to you while you lived it. God knows we're not going to get it right every single time. That's not what He counts. He makes His final judgment call on if your heart loved Him while you lived your life on earth. With all you survived and all you suffered through, did you use it as an excuse to blow Him off and just do as you pleased? Or did you choose again and again and again, despite trauma after trauma after trauma, to stay as good and as right as you could, giving Him the respect of being God? Your actions in this life will show the answer as you go. And at that moment, when you kneel before the one true creator of all, as we all will one day, you won't have any excuse or explanation to save you. And you'll know that where you go is where you belong. So consider carefully the choices you make in your everyday life. If God was right next to you every second of every day, what would he think of you and your choices? Would he be pleased or ashamed? If he'd be ashamed of the choices you're making, those are probably not the choices you want to make. Be smart, live smart, and choose God. Because without his incredible love, you wouldn't even have a chance to escape a fate in hell. Father God, I love you more than words can say for loving us so much. Thank you for hurting as we hurt and for rejoicing in our times of successful obedience to your will as you do. How wonderful you are for taking the time to help us understand these spiritual matters more better as we need to, so we can know and love you more better as we need to. How overflowing I am with love for you and your love for us. Words can never describe it. Let us love and serve you in all our ways for all our days. All hail the King of Glory always. Amen.